That might be the last event of the year, but it's the start of a new chapter, and I'm going to call it now. 2020 is the year of Halo. Get ready. We got more coming up.
It's officially 2021. We've made it. We're out of 2020. It's history. It's behind us, and you survived. Congratulations. If you're watching this video, you survived 2020. And I know we're not out of the woods yet, but I feel good about 2021. I feel like this is it. This might really be the year of Halo. No, that was weak. This is it, okay? 2021, the year of Halo. It's happening. Make it happen. 343, make it happen, because I can't wait anymore. I'm getting old. But I do feel optimistic about this year, especially because we just hit a milestone recently. We've just hit 10,000 subs on YouTube. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hitting sub and supporting me over the, 2.5 or so years since I've started making these Halo videos. Honestly, it's not a crazy milestone, but when I think about it, when I think of 10,000 people in one place, like in a stadium, let's say, that's incredible. That's a lot of people in one place. So I'm just grateful that I've gotten this far. We've come a long way from the how to move like Shotzi videos, back when I started. So honestly, you guys are amazing. And if you're just joining the channel, consider subscribing. Hit that button. You can join me on the journey. We are just getting started. We got plenty of Halo content coming up this year. And now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what this video is about, and that's whether or not Halo can make a comeback in 2021. Where are we even at with Halo Infinite right now? Despite the delays, I'd say that thankfully we're in a better position now than we were this time last year. Last year we knew next to nothing about the game. We had no gameplay whatsoever. We had an engine demo, but no gameplay, no multiplayer details, little to no marketing surrounding the game at all. We were completely in the dark. Over the year, we did get some updates though. We got a gameplay trailer, so we got to see what the game might look like. We got a bit of a sense of the direction of Halo Infinite, and I shared my thoughts on this gameplay trailer when it released, and while I felt like what we saw held promise, I had a few concerns that I think were shared by the majority of the community, and that was that it looked very unfinished. Graphically, it just wasn't that exciting. It was kind of underwhelming. Various issues with things like lighting and texture pop-in and lack of detail. Craig, that was actually a W. I like Craig. I hope he stays in the final game. But part of the reason why the graphics were poorly received was because of 343's ambitious decision to go open world with Halo Infinite, which is something we've never seen. And on one hand, that sounds exciting, but on the other, I worry about how this might affect the game's graphics and gameplay. For example, we all saw the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. It was hard to ignore. With Cyberpunk, they tried to do two things. They tried to make a game that was super ambitious and exciting and really next gen, but at the same time, they tried to make it available on every damn platform, including the Xbox One and the PS4, and in the end, they had a vision that clashed with their resources available. The result was a series of delays, and then eventually they had to release it. Once they released it, it was a buggy mess. You got investors filing lawsuits, you got Sony taking it off the store. It's just a PR nightmare. So after seeing this, I'm worried that 343's vision to have Halo Infinite be a showcase of the power of the Series X is going to be held back by their need to also release it on the Xbox One, which is nearly a decade old. A rumor actually has been spreading recently that Halo Infinite was canceled on the Xbox One, and understandably, people are kind of mixed on this. I'm curious to know what you think in the comments about it, but 343 have gone and denied it, and personally, I think 343 are going to do everything in their power to ensure that it launches on the Xbox One. There's a big audience there. But let's say that releasing the game on Xbox One doesn't hold back its potential on Series X in any way. Game looks amazing, plays amazing, it's next gen. What will it look like and play like on the Xbox One is what I'm curious about. And will that line up with their marketing of the game? Because that's where I feel like they're going to run into an issue. If 343 want to make a big impact with Halo Infinite's campaign, they're going to have to figure out how to avoid the almost inevitable backlash from people who buy this game on Xbox One and expect it to look and play like it does in the gameplay trailers, which is going to be very hard to do. But if they can make a stable game here and avoid that bad PR, then I think that'll be a huge win for Halo's comeback. or just axe it and take it off of Xbox One, put it on Series X and S and on PC, and avoid the whole Cyberpunk drama. The other worry I have with open world Halo is how it might affect the gameplay and story. Halo games, especially the original trilogy, have always done an excellent job of creating this sandbox style gameplay. As the player, you're given large open environments to play within, but they're also linear enough for the developer to tell a cohesive story, while at the same time they can script in big, exciting, blockbuster moments that really add gameplay variety. So this way, you get a level that's just jam-packed with detail, and that's uniquely different from one level to the next. So as the player, you're always introduced to something new and exciting. Now, open world, on the other hand, presents the challenge of maintaining that same exciting gameplay variety while hitting the same beats with the story, all through one interconnected play space, which absolutely can be done, and there are many games that do a great job of this. But when I saw the demo, I couldn't help but shake the feeling that Halo Infinite's campaign might turn into a series of repetitive, lifeless side missions where you go to one outpost, kill the brutes, go to another similar-looking outpost, kill more brutes, push a button, unlock more of the map that looks similar to the portion of the map you've already been playing on, to go to more outposts with more brutes and do the same thing over again. I'm not saying it's gonna be like that, I hope to God it isn't, but there are games that have campaigns like that and they make for a pretty forgettable experience, so it would be very unfortunate if Halo Infinite took that turn. What I hope to see instead is a living, breathing world with day and night cycles and maybe even seasonal changes, just environmental variety and chance encounters. Like, for example, what happened to all the wildlife in the engine demo? I want to see more of that. Or in Halo Reach, when you're playing that mission where you run into the big scary monsters out of nowhere, like I want that shit, but in the middle of a mission, and you might have, these monsters might come in and just rampage everything in the middle of one of your missions, or they might not, or somebody else might get it on their playthrough. Just chance encounters that would make this game special and really differentiate it from your typical linear Halo where you can't have that different experience. So there is potential for something incredible here with open world campaign in Halo Infinite, but 343 have never tackled this before, and when I saw that E3 demo, I got the sense they might have bit off more than they could chew, but then they went ahead and delayed the game for an entire year. And after what we've seen with the release of Cyberpunk, I think this was a very smart play. I think now that they've locked things in, hopefully this gives 343 enough time to really polish up the game and give us a banger campaign next fall. That would be awesome. In the meantime, let me know what you think of open world Halo, and feel free to share any ideas you have that would make this campaign succeed. Now, having a good campaign is one thing, but of course, where the popularity and longevity of this game is really going to come from is the multiplayer. And honestly, I think that's one of the best things about the delay, is it's now allowed 343 to bring back the promise of flighting before the game launches. Flighting is expected to happen later this year. If I had to guess, I would hope this happens no later than the summer. So far, we don't know a whole lot about the game's multiplayer. We've seen 2 screenshots and a bit of the customization system. I've shared my thoughts in detail on these updates, and those videos are on the channel. From what I've seen, I think it looks pretty good. I feel like we don't really know enough to get too excited about it just yet, but it is nice to see that the graphics are improving. That's great. It's also nice that they're not trying anything too crazy or wild with the multiplayer this time. Like, they're not trying to say, you know, make it a hero shooter or bring back some zany custom classes or something. Like, as far as I can tell, it looks like the Halo arena combat that we know and love. The bigger debate is about the inclusion of things like sprint and advanced mobility. In my opinion, 343 are in a very tough position with this one. I would not want to be them. And that's because, while there is clearly a very large fan base that likes and prefers the classic style of Halo, if you watch any of my videos on Halo 5, you would know that even though 343 went ahead and they made something that the classic fan base, you know, would disagree with, I think with Halo 5, they finally nailed a formula for advanced mobility that works for Halo. It's well balanced, it plays well, it's exciting, especially in Halo Esports, to the point where they have created a whole other community of people who like and who prefer that style of Halo. So now there's 2 communities that are kind of clashing with each other, and I can tell from 343's vision with Halo Infinite kind of pulling back on advanced mobility here and not having it as crazy as Halo 5. I can tell they're trying to please both communities. It's a tough position. Now, personally, I think in 2021, taking out all forms of advanced mobility and going all the way back to classic style Halo will not save this franchise. I do not think that's the play. And I'm sorry if that's not what you want to hear, but if you look at the gaming landscape today, apart from Counter-Strike, which is like the only anomaly here, nearly every single trending multiplayer shooter is fast-paced and what the kids like to call cracked. Apex, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and heck, even Valorant takes Counter-Strike as the base and puts its own enhanced mobility spin on the classic formula. Now, whether 343 picked the right combination of abilities is definitely up for debate. For example, I think having no sprint and thrust instead might have been a cool direction for the gameplay, but I'm just happy that some advanced mechanics are there and that the more dramatic advanced mechanics, things that would really impact the map sizes and layout, something like a grapple hook, is not static to the player, it's not tied to the player from the get-go. But more than all of that, I think the real success of this game's multiplayer is going to come from how flexible it is and how much the experience can be tailored to the needs of each Halo gamer. So this would mean having things like a classic style playlist or classic style game modes right out of the gate, or having a forge mode that's intuitive and deep and creates maps that look good and play well, or having a custom browser. Imagine the replayability from a custom browser. This would allow every Halo player, regardless of how they like to interact with Halo, they can tailor the game to their needs. 343 needs to build a model here for the multiplayer that is accessible, rewarding, and agile. They have already nailed accessibility. This game is going to be free to play. So many people are going to download this game's multiplayer just to give it a try. On top of that, if they have crossplay, which they already have on MCC, so I don't see why it wouldn't be there, that allows you to play with your friends regardless of platform. That type of accessibility is going to be massive for the game's popularity. Next, the game needs to have a rewarding gameplay loop that keeps players coming back. Recently, 343 showed off these beautiful armor coatings and weapons on display, and I think it was revealed that some of this stuff is going to cost like $5, or you got to buy a box of cookies to get an armor coating. I don't know, whatever. I just hope that cool things like armor coatings aren't locked behind paywalls, and that unique rewards are offered to players through both the game's ranking system, but also things like challenges that give exclusive bonuses depending on what Halo game mode you like to play. For example, let's say you like to play Big Team Battle. The more you play BTB, the more you would earn exclusive stuff that you'd only get for playing BTB. Or if you're an arena player, or even custom games, you'd be earning unique rewards regardless of where you choose to put your time. Because really the beauty of Halo is that people enjoy it for different reasons, and I think it would be awesome if 343 incentivized people to enjoy the game their way by giving them unique rewards for doing that. And of course, that would happen alongside content updates that keep the game fresh and exciting. It's already been revealed that 343 are adopting more of a service model for Halo Infinite, so kind of like Fortnite or Apex, which I assume means they would have something like seasons that are full of content and updates that keep players coming back. So this way we'd have a game that's both accessible and rewarding, and then the devs would need to be agile, and this is huge, especially for Halo Esports. 343 have already announced that they will be releasing a full Halo Esports roadmap for the first year of the game's release, which this is amazing incentive for both new players and even some stability for veterans who now know exactly what to expect from Halo events, how to participate, and how to plan their year. But along the way, I'm sure issues are going to arise, whether it's issues with game balance or glitches, and this is where 343 needs to be agile. We know that Halo Infinite is running on an entirely new engine, so hopefully this allows developers to react and respond to issues more quickly and provide the necessary updates. And on top of that, I think that things like community feedback, especially from pro players, needs to be listened to and responded to quickly for this game to have longevity as a competitive title. When it came to things like flighting and the rollout of MCC, I feel like 343 have definitely improved at this. They've become more transparent, so hopefully that translates over to the multiplayer, because that was one of the biggest issues with Halo 5. We had ground pound and autos in competitive on top of just various glitches that weren't patched for like 2 years until they finally patched everything, and the game was awesome by then. We had an awesome competitive title, but it was 2018 and people had moved on. And the last thing I want to add, and I don't think it's necessary for the game to launch with this, but as long as it doesn't impact the development of the game's core modes and experiences, so you have your arena modes and your big team battle and your forge and theater, etc., and that's all in the game and it's working well, then I think on top of that, it would be nice to have a battle royale as well. If this game's really going to pop off, whether or not the core Halo fan base cares about battle royale, it is impossible to deny the success that Call of Duty has received from Warzone. There is just a massive, massive market of people that want to play a game mode like that, and I think that as long as all the modes that should be in Halo are in Halo and they're working well, and the BR is the cherry on top, then I think it'll completely blow up. And especially with Halo, I think Halo has a perfect foundation. They've got the characters and the lore to make something really incredible and unique here. So overall, in my opinion, if 343 can accomplish even like 70% of the stuff that I just listed here, then I think 2021 will be the year of Halo. This game is going to bang. And that's because despite its lack of relevance today, Halo as a brand is still recognized across the entire gaming industry. And most of the leaders in this industry were raised on Halo. This game could go from irrelevant to mainstream, literally overnight. And whether or not it stays there depends on the stuff I've talked about today, and I'm sure there's plenty that I missed, and that's where you guys come in. Let me know in the comments what you think will make 2021 the year of Halo. I think I speak for the community when I say this, and maybe it's a pipe dream, but god damn it, I just want to see Halo make a well-deserved comeback. And that about does it for my rant today. Honestly, my only plan for this video was to really just say thank you for 10,000 subs. And then next thing I knew, I'm basically running down like a wish list of what I want to see in Halo Infinite. And hopefully you guys agree with some of the stuff that I mentioned. I do hope we get some big news updates in the near future and they don't just hold off on revealing any info about Infinite till like E3, because that would suck. But who knows what they're going to do. I just hope they take full advantage of this extra time they've got with the delay. It would also be nice if in the meantime 343 could spend a little bit more time investing in the community it already has. And I could spin off into a whole other rant about this, but they did a great job porting MCC to PC last year, and I'm sure there's still work to be done, but please give some love to Halo 5 as well. I feel like Halo 5's kind of been left by the wayside recently. It still has some performance issues. Even on Series X, it's still having issues that I would love to see fixed, but more than that, bring Halo 5 to PC. I think Halo 5 would do incredible on PC, and if they do that, that's the last game. That's every single title available on PC. It's all finished, ready to go, and then Infinite comes out to seal the deal. Anyway, maybe I'm just dreaming at this point, but that's it for me today. So thank you for sticking with me. If you guys like content like this and you want to see more, make sure to hit subscribe. Make sure to check out related videos on my right if you want more content, but we got a lot of grinding to do this year. I am still trying to hit SR 152 in Halo 5, so I'll be streaming that in between videos. If you guys want to check out my stream, it's linked in the description. You can join me on the way. Maybe I'll see you there.